I work for a company that makes technology that companies use to run their workforces. And if you follow the field of human resources technology, that there is an explosion of creativity going on. And I work with companies around the world using this technology and trying to figure out how do you use this technology to actually improve work environments, create better conversations, more engagement, not just automate processes. And what I'm going to be talking about is why are these companies investing so much in it? Why is there so much need to rethink how we do human resources? And it kind of ties to a lot of the things that you heard beforehand. So with that, I'll start with this. About 2,500 years ago, a Greek philosopher named Heraclitus, if I never get that name right, said the only constant is change. That's not really true anymore. In the hyper-connected, digitalized world, the only constant is an ever-accelerating rate of change. Things are changing faster and faster and faster and faster. And what this means for companies is companies have always had to deal with change, but now they have to deal with it quicker because not only is change coming at them, competition is higher. So no matter what industry your company's in, what region of the world, whatever your company is doing right now is the wrong thing to be doing in 3 years. There's going to be some disruptive change, economic, technological, regulatory, probably multiple. And you won't know what this is till it happens. You won't know how big it's going to be until it's going on, but you're going to have to adapt really quickly. And a huge part of that adaptation is you're going to need to get the employees in your company to do things in the future that are different from what they did in the past. As a result, the success of companies and the survival of companies depends on creating environments where people thrive on change. Because we cannot control the rate of change, but we can influence how people react to it by how we create the environment. And this starts with, one, dispelling a myth about psychology of change. One of the biggest myths about people is people fear change. That is not true. People fear poorly managed change. Loss of resources, inability to adapt. But change is what people as humans, as a species, are wired for. Our competitive niche as a species is we are really good at adapting to changing environments. It is why there are more of us on the planet every year and sadly fewer other animals. We're good at adapting, other animals aren't. Not only are we good at it, it's good for us. It's called learning and growth. It is unhealthy to do the same thing over and over again. But for it to be good for us, it has to occur in certain conditions. And I use the analogy of river rafting to really capture this concept. Has anyone here ever been river rafting before? Did you enjoy it?
No.
Most of you did, some people didn't. Good. But I may get into why you didn't enjoy it, actually. Most people, like, yeah, it was fun, may not be as I want to do all the time. I'm guessing you didn't have to do it. You weren't like Lewis and Clark, that you had to get across the continent. Did you pay money to do it? Yeah, a lot of people paid money to do it. Did you know you can drown? So you voluntarily paid money to introduce change into your life that could have killed you. Okay, the point I'm making here is people don't fear change. We actually actively seek it out. But there are certain conditions that make it enjoyable. First of all, we have to believe we can survive it. That is, I bet you had a raft that floated. That's sort of basic table stakes. But that's the real simple. You could have a raft and it could still be a miserable trip. It's the psychological conditions that I'm going to go through that make the change enjoyable. The first one is, you probably had a guide or someone in the boat and you knew where you were going. You weren't just getting on a boat into the middle of nowhere. You kind of had a destination, a purpose, a reason, and you had a leader that you trusted would get you there. You didn't know exactly how you were going to get up the river, but you trusted they knew what they were doing. The second thing is, you're probably in a boat with other people that you're all working together, It was part of dealing with change and stress is being with other people in the sense of we're paddling together. If you'd just been by yourself, or even worse, perhaps in a boat with people you're all bickering and fighting each other, it wouldn't have been very fun. But it was that connection of we're in it together as a group. And the third is you probably had a sense that even though, yeah, it's dangerous, the people I'm with care about me. They care about my personal safety. Like you had a life preserver. Yeah, there's risk, but we tried to decrease the risk. You knew that if you fell out of the boat, they weren't going to just keep on paddling. They're going to pull you back into the boat. They cared about you as more than just an oar. They cared about you as a human. When you have those three things, a sense of direction, a group that you're in it with, and a sense that the people with you care about you not just as an employee ID number, but as a person, change can be really fun and exhilarating. A matter of fact, if you think in your own career, probably some of the most exhilarating times in your own career were times of considerable change. A new job assignment, a new project, but you were working with other people to get stuff done, and it was stressful, but it was that good stress, that stress of accomplishing stuff together. This is what companies are facing, because they're saying, okay, we have to create, that change is coming, we're in the river, how can we make sure people are fully engaged? And it's really about creating a culture of learning and adaptability. And so people approach change with a sense of commitment, engagement, and confidence. And this is one of the fundamental changes that I believe is going on in the whole field of talent management. Because somebody asked me once, how do you train people to be adaptable? And I said, that's absolutely the wrong question. We're born adaptable. When babies are born, pretty much the only thing they know how to do is eat, poop, and learn. And the first thing they learn to do is to get their parents to feed them and change their poop. It is amazing how quick kids learn. It's incredible. But the problem is that as we grow up and start working, we're not managed to learn. We're managed to be productive. And employees are most productive when they're doing stuff they already know how to do. That's when we are the most efficient and productive. And so if you're managing people for productivity, it's a very different way of managing than if you're managing people to do stuff they've never done before. That's managing for adaptability. And it's really about managing to make sure people have three things that go back to my river rafting example. The first is a sense of achievement. And this is not, by the way, new psychology. We've known this for over 50 years. We just ignored it because we could get away with it, and now we can't. People are born with a fundamental desire to accomplish meaningful goals. This is why kids crawl as soon as they can. Why? Because it just feels good to accomplish something. And on the flip side, one of the common senses for depression is my life is meaningless. So having this sense of meaning. Now, we have to make sure when people come to work, they feel a sense of meaning in what they're doing. And what most people attach meaning to are doing activities where they're helping other living creatures, people, animals, or the planet, or they are fulfilling their own sense of self-identity in terms of professional career growth and accomplishment. So how can we make sure through clear goals connected to meaningful visions and missions that when people go to work, they don't have to go to work, they get to go to work on something they care about. The second one is something called need for community or affiliation. Humans are social animals. We don't do well when we feel isolated and alone. And the more change we're affected by, the more we really rely on having those people that are in it with us. They don't have to be your immediate coworkers, but you need to feel like you belong to some sort of a group that kind of is helping each other and encouraging each other. And so this is where like social technology to create that connection becomes really, really important. So people feel connected to people that they work with. And the third one is a sense of security. That change is stressful. We need to feel that people are empathetic to that stress that we're facing and are doing what they can to try to minimize it when it comes to things like financial well-being, physical well-being, and mental well-being. And so this is where you see a lot of sort of supportive, empathetic leadership. That we can't prevent the change, we can't provide permanent security, but we can be sensitive to the stresses that you're under. When you have these three things, it is amazing what people can accomplish in the face of change. But if any of these drop below a certain level, change goes from exhilarating to terrifying, and we go from growth to survival. So in sum, one of the things that I want to close with that I really get frustrated with is people who say, development is an employee responsibility. That would be like a gardener saying, growth is the plant's responsibility. This garden's not failing because I'm a bad gardener, it's because those plants aren't motivated to grow. Yes, plants do grow themselves. What a gardener does is create the conditions that enable healthy growth. What an effective leader does is create the environment that allows people to thrive and grow in this world of change instead of being decimated. Thank you.